Are you okay? You're so dark. Your side is too dark. I cannot.
Too dark.
Yeah. No, it's
Which
it's
side?
okay. No, I mean like it's fine. It's just very dark. Like I wouldn't dare while I'm reading this story because I find this story very very scary and I'm actually excited. Okay, good luck to you.
Oh, are we gonna do the intro first?
The intro already is done. That's the intro. Good luck, Tasha.
Huh? Say hi or something. Hello.
Hi. Hi, today we're gonna be talking about more ghost stories. And you're so noisy.
Who?
You. Stop moving.
My stuff get on in my throat. Ah. Okay.
You know, I wait for you for so long. I finished my coffee. Okay, so this story is about a family who lived in this area in Singapore called Simpang Bedok. I know this place, or I heard of this place. You heard of this place, right? Simpang Bedok.
No.
Never.
I know the Bedok only, not the Simpang.
But okay, so this story is about a family who lived in 1994. They lived in like a 2-room flat. Okay, and they are actually Ang Mohs because the name is Eddie and Francis. Eddie and Francis, so they're kind of like expats, like Ang Moh kind of feel. I think they're a young couple, and then they lived in Singapore with their 10-year-old daughter, and they recently moved to a terrace house near Bedok Simpang area. Immediately, right after they start living there, Frances, the mom, began complaining that something wasn't right about the house. And then her husband Eddie, he always goes to like a business trip, and every single business trip takes about a few days and several nights at a time. And he needs to like travel to other countries, so he always leaves like his wife Frances and the baby back home. So like on those nights where Eddie, right, is not at home, the wife Frances told her family that the house was occupied by more than just her and the baby. When Eddie was away, something would play around in the house and it was scaring her half to death. Frances told the husband that, oh, I can't stay here anymore, like please let's move to another place, because she cannot stay in the house alone anymore. Like she's not alone, she's with the baby, but you know, she's just too scared to live alone taking care of the baby when the husband is not around. Eddie, the husband, you know, like guys, so he's always like, he never experienced anything like this or anything unusual in the house when he was there. So he just thought that his wife was having hysteria and also postpartum depression, like a depression after like giving birth. But at the same time, the husband, right, he was kind of like helpless to do anything about it. Like he couldn't do anything because one is that he cannot afford to move houses, and also he can't like give up the extra income because he's making more money just traveling overseas for his business deals. So what Eddie suggested was that, oh, why not my mom stay with you whenever I go on business trip? Okay, so they kind of like have this deal like, okay, whenever Eddie is away on a business trip, the mom will come over and stay together with Frances and the baby. So she's not alone, right? So I think that's a good thing, and like Frances was like, okay, let's try that. And the reason why Eddie don't believe in Frances was because every single time this kind of things happen is only when Frances is alone with the baby. So they were hoping that when the mom is over, Frances won't have all these like crazy things happening around her. Like maybe it's just, you know, like wind or something like that. Like, you know, it's just something small and then she just make it like really big. But the mom was also someone like Eddie. She's kind of like a hard-headed and pragmatic woman. She didn't believe in ghosts and she wasn't frightened by the idea of ghosts at all. But this changed after this one night, and it is like the first night that she stayed in Frances' house and also the last night that she stayed in Frances' house. So at around 7 p.m., like after sunset, there was like they started to hear scratchings against the walls, and then Frances, like, she heard it. Like, she was on the sofa, she was sitting down chilling, and then the mom was also sitting down chilling, and then she heard the scratches, but Frances was like suddenly really scared, and then she became very pale. So then the mother assured her and said that it's probably like mice, but Frances knows it's not mice because the area is very very clean to live in. So this is how the whole thing started. Okay, at around 9:30 p.m., while watching TV in the living room, they heard three sharp raps on the front door, like tuk tuk tuk. When it says here very sharp, so I think they say puck puck puck. I don't know. Okay. Then so the mom, like, she thought that Frances would go and answer the door, like, but Frances was just stood still and not doing anything. She didn't even, like, she was frozen in fear. The mom was like, "For God's sake, friend, like, there's someone at the door." Frances replied, "No, there isn't." And Frances refused to go to the door. So the mother, she was just like, "Okay, fine." So the mom went to the door, she flung it open, and then she found nothing. There was nobody at the door. And then Preston was like, "See? I told you there was nobody at the door." So, but the mother believed that it was probably just kids screwing with them. Turned out,
So many excuses.
yeah, like all this, there was scratchings, there were people knocking, and then, like, this is what happens when people are skeptic. And I would be like that too, because I'm scared.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not just,
True. Same.
I'm not saying I'm skeptic, but I'm scared, so I will be a skeptic. So every single time when we would hear anything at home, I will just say it's the cats. Everything is the cat, and it's true, it's always the
Oh,
cat.
same.
Right?
That's just our way of like
Yeah.
self-assurance.
Turned out the mom was wrong. In the evening, the house became very very quiet. At 11:30 p.m., after like watching some news, the mom was really tired and was ready to go to bed. And Frances, she agreed, and then they had taken a quick trip around the first floor. So this terrace, they had like 2 floors. So they took a quick trip around the first floor, making sure that all the doors and windows were like closed and secured. Once they checked everything is closed already, they went upstairs to their rooms. This is something that you have to visualize. Okay, so at the on the second floor, there was like a hallway, right? And then the hallway, at one end was the guest room, at the other end was the nursery room. So the nursery room is where the baby was sleeping in, and then in the middle was of the guest room and the nursery room is actually the master bedroom, where Frances should be sleeping in. So basically, there's a master bedroom, there's a guest room, and also a nursery room, right? The guest room, where the mom was gonna sleep in, and the master bedroom, they have a shared like walk-in closet that opens to both rooms. So from one room, like from the guest room, you can look into the master bedroom if you open the door. The mother was supposed to sleep in the guest room, but Frances insisted that because she's scared, so can we just open the doors to the walk-in closet so that we can always see each other? The mom considered Frances to be something of a tweet. Yeah, so at this time, the mom was like, "Okay, fine," like, she agreed with Frances because, like, she thinks the woman is like scared. So she's like, "Okay, let's just open both doors so that I can see you and you can see me." She returned to her room and climbed into bed. The lights on Frances' room were still on. She could see like the lower half of the bed, where Frances was lying down with her leg dangling over the side, swinging to and fro. So the mom watched Frances, hoping that Frances would like fall asleep soon so that this whole night could come to an end. So she just said like, "Good night, Frances." She called through the closet. "Good night, Anita," Frances replied. From the guest room hall door. It's not from the master bedroom to the closet. The mother was so surprised that Frances' voice was coming from a different direction from the master bedroom. And when she looked back into the master bedroom, the leg was still there, swinging back and forth. So the mom thought that that was Frances on the bed. But then when she said goodnight, Frances replied to her from another direction, another door. She was very shocked, the mom. She looked at Frances, who is actually in her doorway, then looked back through the closet at the master bedroom, and the leg was still there, swinging back and forth. So the mom jumped out of her bed and then slammed the closet door shut, and then told Frances to get out of the hallway and then come into the room with her, and then lock the door behind her. So now, because there was someone in the master bedroom, right? So now both Frances and the mom are in the guest room, and they're both like really scared. Frances keep asking like the mom like, oh, what are you talking about, what's happening? The mom explained to her what she'd seen, like, I feel like there's someone in the room, like she was lying on your room and her legs were swinging back and forth. She said, I haven't even lie down yet, she just been in the nursery with the baby. And then something else happened. Okay, terrible noises started to fill the house. Okay, it was as if someone was throwing every single thing that was breakable in the basement. So in this house, the terrace, they have a basement, and then like they feel like someone was in the basement, and then someone was just breaking everything that was in the basement. And that's when suddenly Debbie, the daughter, the baby, started crying from the nursery. And then Frances, being a mom, she moved automatically to the door, like she was going to like go out, but she suddenly stopped because there was a loud bang from the basement. Like the door suddenly opened, like really really loud. One hand was on the doorknob and listened as like heavy footsteps moved from the first floor towards the staircase to the second floor. So the baby's cry became more like louder and louder and insistent, and then the heavy step fell on the first step of the staircase. Okay, at this time Frances knew that something was coming up the staircase, and she also knew that the staircase has like 14 steps. I don't know why she know that, like I don't know how many steps my house has. So she knew there was 14 steps. And the thing was on the first step because it was like a loud doom kind of thing. And the staircase was between the guest room and the nursery room, so it was right in between them. If she wants to go and rescue her baby, she had to go out, and then she might be able to see that thing that was at the staircase before she can go into the nursery room, right? The mom was like, oh my god, like it's coming up the steps and the baby's crying. So the steps keep coming up to like the third step, the fourth step, fifth, sixth, and this is what Frances did because like she's a mother and she needs to get to her baby. So she just screamed really really loudly, and until now like they feel like that scream was kind of both anger and terror. She tore open the guest room door and then raced for the nursery. Frances flew past the hall, didn't look at the thing. While she was screaming, right, and she was running to the nursery, that thing kept coming up to the steps faster. And then like both her and the mother like didn't look at that direction, just went straight to the nursery, run there, and then like just closed the door behind them. So the mother slammed and locked the nursery door as Frances scooped up the baby from the crib and then held her tight to like soothe her from crying, all while staring at the nursery door, where like that thing was still coming up the stairs. Like they could hear it coming to the 10, 11, and 12 step. And then suddenly they heard that step coming back down. After that, they can hear them coming back down again. So like the both of them like were just feeling a lot of fear and relief at the same time, and knowing that whatever that was climbing up the steps, it's just going back down the first floor. And then they heard the basement door slam shut. Okay, so they know that it went back inside. It resumed the destruction of things that was happening down in the basement. Then the mother like went to Francis and said like, do you go through this every single time Eddie's away? And then Francis, like, she almost laughed and then said that no, it's usually not this bad. And Francis had insisted on getting a telephone, and to call someone for help, but the telephone was in the master bedroom. They don't have any telephone in the nursery room or even the guest room. It was in the master bedroom. They decided to like just risk to go there. At first they were like hesitating and like they were kind of like scared to go and like go in because that thing might still be in there. So they kind of took the risk. They went out to speak out and then saw that there wasn't anybody there. And then they went to the master bedroom and luckily there was nobody there. And then they called the police and they said that to the police that there's an intruder because they don't know how else to explain to them. So when the police came and they were trying to get into the house, so the Francis told them that like we're too scared to come out of the house to open the door for you, so there's an extra spare key somewhere, so please get it and open it up yourself. Two police officers came into the house. That's when they all feel a bit more safer, so then they went down with them and then they tried to explain to the police officers like there was someone in the master bedroom, there was like banging and and shit like that. So but and you would think that the banging was still ongoing, but it's not. When the police officer came in, all the sound, all the destruction stopped. All the glass breaking and everything, it stopped. So the police officer like actually like went to check on the basement. There was nobody and everything was just fine. Like nothing is destroyed, there was nothing happening. So then they themselves think that these two women is just like playing around with us, like maybe they're just tired, and then they told them to go and take a rest basically. So then like after hearing that from the police officer, like Francis and the mom, they were like really upset, like but they couldn't do anything because there was no evidence that someone was in the house or in the basement. Like they checked everywhere. They checked the first floor and the second floor, the kitchen, everywhere, and then they just like they couldn't find anything and everything was locked. All the windows were locked, there was nothing that is amiss. So the police officer just felt they were kind of condescending as well, so they decided to leave. But just as the second police officer was leaving and the door like closed behind them, there was like such a huge like loud sound of that like exploded in the basement. Like a bunch of things just get thrown everywhere. It exploded in the basement, and then from outside the policemen could hear it. They opened the door right away and they like have their gun with them, and then they start like banging on the basement again, and then they checked that there was like nothing there. So that's when both the policemen like started to feel like, okay, there's something wrong with this place. They keep checking and checking, there was nobody. Something disturbing is happening here and they can't explain it, and they can't catch anyone, they can't do anything about it. But they know that Francis and the mom, like they look very 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 scared, and they have like a baby. So they told them that, okay, you should go and like stay with someone else. So that's what they did. So Francis and the mom like that night packed their bags and they never stay in that house ever again. This is something that was like kind of like sad. So what happened was the husband, right, Eddie, do you remember him? So yeah, he came back and then he was like kind of very shocked and upset that the mom was believing Francis, like I sent you to stay with my wife, not to believe her and just convince her to leave the house. Now the husband is like on his own and they almost got a divorced because it was a really huge argument. Like the husband like really didn't like believe the wife or believe the mom at all. So
Well, the husband's so useless.
yeah, he was like really like hard-headed, like he doesn't believe in any of these things. So he always thought there was some kind of explanation to it. So he thought that the mom would be able to come out with an explanation, but yeah, it's just like he just like hated the fact that the both of them became scared of the house now, which he really really like he loves that house. So what happened was that they stopped living together with each other. So Francis and the baby live with someone, I think one of their relatives or something. And then the husband, he lived in the house on his own. Like after a few months, that one day he suddenly went to Frances and begged her to like take him back, because they were gonna like divorce, so, and beg her to take him back. And he said that, oh, I believe you now, like I really believe you now, and I want us to be back together. So that was a good thing. And then Frances asked him like, what happened to you like in the house. He was really scared to like talk about it for a few years. He didn't say anything. He was just like, I just trust you now, I just don't want to talk about it. And like he was just upset for a few years. When he said, and he was finally ready to talk about it, he said that it's actually not as scary as what the mom and Frances went through. He was lying down on the bed, right, at night. He just gets woken up by something. He was gonna go pee, but he woke up to someone beside him sleeping right next to him when he's like all alone in this really really big house. He just left the house. So that's what happened to him. So at least now their marriage is saved, and both of them like are on the same page. It took a few months of suffering. So that is my first story, and actually my only story, because I thought it was very long.
Really?
Yeah.
Just one long story.
It's a long story.
Yeah, I mean it's a good story. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah.
It gives me a bit of goosebump.
Right. When I was reading the story, and it's like I was reading at night alone 2 days ago, and I was just so scared, and I was like, oh my god, just like quickly read through so that I can find out the ending. That was how scared I was. Okay, how many points? I mean, out of 10.
That's actually the first story that I'm interested from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? I'm getting better. I'm so proud of
I
myself.
say 7.5. Hey, it's good. You know what's the highest point?
Yeah, true.
It was the 8 out of 10. My story.
No, okay,
So I'm like, okay.
your story wasn't even as scary as this,
No, it was scary and short. Yours is long and scary.
Long and scary because everything that happened was scary. Fine.
I mean, no, 7.5.
Fine. I need more coffee.
Stop drinking coffee at night.
Why?
Not good for you. I cannot sleep better.
Coffee doesn't do anything to me. I just stay.
Really?
Yeah. When I drink
Coffee makes me emotional though. Yeah, I stopped drinking coffee.
can lah.
Do you want to hear the next story?
Okay.
The first story. Auntie Nga organized a family reunion at the beach around East Coast Park. She booked a chalet place, and apparently there's a lot taken except for the furthest one, which is quite far away from the car park. They all gathered on a Thursday night and enjoyed eating their barbecue food. One of the Auntie Nga's young nephews asked her if she could accompany her to the toilet. The nephew is still a child and still attending kindergarten classes. Auntie Nga held her hand and walked towards the nearest toilet. Even though the toilet is nearest to their barbecue place, it takes quite some time to walk there. It was a breezy night with the sounds of waves crashing, but it suddenly got eerily silent. Auntie Nga held her nephew's hand tighter, and out of nowhere, her nephew asked her, "Auntie, why is she sitting alone?" She points to an empty bench. Auntie Nga got uncomfortable and told her not to mind that person. Auntie Nga knew that her nephew doesn't know that if she sees something strange, she cannot
Mention it.
she cannot mention it.
Yeah, it's a thing.
But-
I feel like when you see something strange, don't mention it at that point of time, because the thing will just like, oh,
Yeah.
you can see me. I'm gonna follow you home.
Auntie Nga got uncomfortable and told her not to mind that person. Her nephew replied, "Auntie, she's looking at us. Why does her head turn like that?" Her child nephew started crying and hugged Auntie Nga, saying that she's scared. Auntie Nga had goosebumps. She still cannot see anything. The bench is still empty, but both of them quickly turned around to go back to the barbecue place. When they were walking back, Auntie Nga's husband saw them from afar. Then suddenly, her husband started to recite ayat Al-Kursi. Al-Kursi is a verse from Muslim Quran that helps protect people from the evil spirit. Auntie Nga kept walking and didn't dare to look behind. She knew that her husband sees something behind them. Both Auntie Nga and her nephew reached their place safely. Her husband refused to say anything and refused to say why he recited that verse until a few days later at home. He said that when Auntie Nga and his nephew were walking towards their place, he saw someone with long hair with their body and feet facing the other way. That thing was walking backwards, following them from the back. Okay. He was terrified by the sight and recited Al-Kursi till that thing stopped and disappeared among the trees around there. That's the first story. Can you imagine? Like, it's a long hair. Her head is facing that way and her body is facing that way. And she was walking backwards behind both of them. That's the first short story I have for you.
No one's behind you. I can just see a shadow.
That's my shadow.
Yeah.
So, rate kakak.
Oh, I didn't realize it was gonna be that scary at first, and then it was like really scary at the end. So I would say 7.
Oh, your standards has.
My standards
What?
have risen.
The next story will be interesting. It is near our house in Singapore. It is situated in Woodlands and also near our block.
Yeah, I know this block. You
But I
know this
will-
block. Actually, right, okay, so growing up there, like during my time when I was in secondary school, so me and my best friend, and we always like hang around over there because like there was this like empty grass area, but there's some kind of ledge. So me and my friend, we always like try to like, you know, go and like balance ourselves on that ledge to see like who falls first or who's the greatest at balancing. And then we realized that block, right, is like all the windows were just like empty and like things covering the windows. And then like we didn't realize at first that it was empty until we actually look at it, and then we saw like, oh, it doesn't look like a normal block. You know, normal block, like normal apartments, there will just be like clothes hanging outside to dry or like people, but this time it was like totally empty. And then but we were not scared of it because we were only there only in the morning. Then there was actually a time where we heard of a rumor that haunted, but we don't know why and how it became haunted. We just know that it was haunted, and then people like, you know, they don't want to live there anymore basically. So I'm actually very interested to know what you have to say because I never get to hear like why it's haunted. I just know that I've been there so many times.
The block we are talking about was block 852 in Woodlands. It is one of the haunted abandoned block. Woodlands is known for its one haunted HDB block, block 852. Block 852 has been empty for the longest time. So block 852 was built in the 1980s. For unknown reasons, it was abandoned in the early 2000s. Only in the late 2000s, it was converted to 1 or 2 room flats and got populated again. There are 3 reasons as to why that block is empty. First reason, it was said that when construction of a church started opposite, you know that church like in front of it?
Yeah.
Before that church was built up, there was actually a gigantic rock at the side. It was removed with much difficulty, and for some reason, after that removal of that rock, residents of block 852 started seeing spirits in their homes. So this is what my assumption is. I assume that the spirits from that rock transfer to the nearest block for shelter.
Oh.
I just assume that one. Okay. The second one, that block was used as a foreign workers' dormitory after the SARS outbreak. So that could be one of the reasons why people don't go near to that block.
Because of SARS?
The third one, in 2009, there is actually a murder case. A mentally unstable woman stabbed her teenage daughter in the heart. They ran the house there. Supernatural occurrences have since been reported after the murder. Yeah, so right now it's just nothing else.
Oh, at first I thought, you know what I thought? I thought that people commit suicide in that block.
Yeah, me also.
Yeah.
I thought it's commit suicide.
Yeah.
I was thinking, right, why not every 5th episode we do some exploring or reaction videos or gaming videos that is related to horror.
Yeah, I think we can do that. I was thinking about the what's that called?
Yang beli online nya
Hi Pa.
Table ni online nya.
Apa?
Dia nak kasih. Wah, ada lagi satu ni. Secret punya ni.
Cover Papa's body because he's not wearing
Setia
Ada
dia.
t-shirt.
t-shirt dah. Is that Kak Diana?
Yes.
Kakak,
Ah,
want to say hi? I just censor your body.
Hi.
sensor lah, nampak lah. What are you guys doing eh? I
Oh,
wonder.
just telling horror stories.
Telling horror. Oh!
Yeah.
Tak takut pun. Belum takut lah.
Okay, I think it's time to say bye.
Yeah, time to say bye bye.
Okay, bye.